Good afternoon. I'm Jonathan Stone, the Marketing and Communications Manager at Downtown Cleveland Alliance, and I'd like to thank you for joining Downtown Cleveland Alliance for the Downtown Now webinar series in partnership with Cleveland Magazine. After the panel discussion, we will have a Q&A session. Throughout the webinar, you are welcome to submit questions using the Q&A button on the menu bar. This way, we will have questions queued up and ready to go to start the Q&A. Also, feel free to write your thoughts and comments in the chat box, and we'll do our best to address your comments throughout the broadcast. I will now turn it over to our Executive Vice President for Business Development, Michael Deemer.
Thank you, Jonathan, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. For those of you who may not be familiar with Downtown Cleveland Alliance, I wanted to say just a few words about who we are and what we do. We're the only nonprofit organization dedicated solely to making downtown Cleveland the region's most compelling place to live, work, and visit. We're a place-based development organization that represents property owners, residents, businesses, as well as civic partners in downtown Cleveland. And over the last 15 years, we've concentrated on building a clean, safe, welcoming, and pedestrian-friendly place that attracts additional investment. A place where residents and office workers can walk to meet their daily needs, where local retailers and restaurateurs animate the streets, and where people are proud to build a life for themselves and their families. Now, we can't do this work without the generous support of individuals, small businesses, corporate partners, and foundations. Downtown Cleveland needs your support now more than ever, and in response to an outpouring of support and requests for ways to help, Downtown Cleveland Alliance has launched the Unite Cle Recovery Fund. Your donation will help support small businesses, aid our Voices of Cle mural program, expand our SEEDS workforce readiness program, which provides jobs and job training for individuals who are homeless. It will help sustain our Downtown Cleveland Homeless Fund, which helps connect individuals who are homeless with shelter and needed resources. As Jonathan mentioned, we launched the Downtown Now webinar series a few months ago. And I'd like to, again, thank Cleveland Magazine and Community Leader, our media sponsors, for this project. Since 2018, the Downtown Now insert in Cleveland Magazine has served to highlight the progress of downtown Cleveland, and we've used this webinar series to chronicle a rapidly changing environment. One of the things we're very proud of at Downtown Cleveland Alliance is that downtown Cleveland is the fastest growing neighborhood in the region. Between 2013 and 2018, the downtown Cleveland population grew by 48%. In contrast, the fastest growing suburb in Cuyahoga County grew by 3%. And that growth is projected to continue as we add over 1,000 apartments and exceed 20,000 residents later this year. Without major events and large crowds, the last few months have really highlighted the key advantages, the core advantages of downtown living. Convenient, walkable access to amenities to meet daily needs and to access outdoor and waterfront recreation. For information on downtown living, read the latest issue of Downtown Digs on our website at downtowncleveland.com. At that site, you can also view resident testimonials, take virtual tours of downtown apartment buildings, and review our downtown apartment and condominium guide. Again, all available at downtowncleveland.com. Today, we're joined by downtown housing leaders who will share with us how they are working to fill some of downtown Cleveland's recently completed residential developments. And we'll talk as well about some of the opportunities for attracting retail amenities and office jobs into downtown. And we have a terrific panel to help us do that today. We're joined by Cassie Agazzino, the Regional Operations Director from Comet Management and Stark Enterprises, Amanda Baer, Property Manager with JNS Management Company, and Cheryl Wersch, Asset Manager with Key Center and Millennia Companies. Cassie, Amanda, Cheryl, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Well, I guess, Amanda, I'd like to begin with you and talk a little bit about the Athlon, and maybe invite you to share with us a little bit about one of the exciting new historic redevelopments that we have in downtown, and share some of the images and some of the attributes of the building.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Michael, for having me today. My name is Amanda Baer. I am the property manager for the Athlon, and we are a brand new luxury apartment building located right on Euclid Avenue. Our renovation just finished this past winter. So January was the key month for us where we were able to share with Cleveland a finalized product. And we hosted our grand opening event to a little over 200 people in the grand ballroom of the Athlon. Right here, you see a photo of one of our finished apartment suites. And we house 163 apartments in our 16-story building. Our amenities are completely finished at this time, all the way up to our rooftop terrace. So when people ask me why the Athlon, a lot of it goes into our history of the building, which dates back to the Cleveland Athletic Club, which is what our address on Euclid Avenue is mainly known for.
Well, we'll circle back and talk a lot more about the amenities of all of these buildings. But Cassie, I'd like to turn to you and ask you to share a little bit about the Beacon, Stark Enterprises' newest development in downtown Cleveland and one of the newer additions to the downtown skyline.
Absolutely. Happy to talk about it. So in contrast to the Athlon, we are not a resurgence of a historic building downtown. We are actually the first residential high-rise that has gone up in nearly 40 years in the city. So we're very proud of that. And as a Cleveland-based company, what a more exciting thing to do is make that stamp in downtown Cleveland. So our construction completed last year, at the end of last year, 2019. We are 30 stories and we house 187 units. We have 1 and 2 bedroom units in a mix of the two. All of our modern style apartments and layouts feature and highlight our most amazing amenity of all, being our views. And we have floor to ceiling windows in every single apartment that highlight panoramic city and lake views all the way to the top. So we have a rooftop dog park and sky deck and sky lounge that really are spectacular views and give you a picture of our city that you really had no opportunity to see before. We built this high rise, at least to our residential people who live downtown rather than the office buildings. So we're very proud of this building and this project, and we're excited to bring people downtown to live with us.
Cheryl, turning to you, I know you have a couple of properties from Millennia that we're going to highlight today. The most recently completed were the Statler and the Garfield building. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those projects and share a little bit about their amenity packages as well?
Sure. So the Statler is the newest. It just finished a $15 million renovation project, and it has totally redeveloped that entire building and brought back the ambiance of when it used to be a hotel. And that's how it was originally built. And so it has a grand foyer and it has just amazing spaces throughout with a community room in it. And it has, amazingly enough, 65 different floor plans ranging from 1 bedrooms to 3 bedrooms. You can see there's that gorgeous foyer that's been recreated in the space that, as a, I can only dream of having a hotel look like that back in the day in the 1920s. So the amenity package is outstanding. Beautiful community room that features a pool table, and it offers a coffee bar, and you can get 2 free beers a day if you're over 21 in our community room. It has a rooftop patio. It has an amazing courtyard that they have just put new furniture into. And so beautiful flowers and great staff that provides wonderful service. And so we're really, really pleased with how the Statler came out. And we're so happy to be a part of that Euclid corridor. We currently have some retail space available, Michael, in the Statler, in case anybody is interested. And we've got about 10,000 square feet on Euclid and another 10,000 square feet on the mezzanine level, which is a very unique opportunity for office or for retail space as well. So the Statler is really, really gorgeous. 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. So I know some families are always looking for 3 bedrooms, and we have them. We move on to the Garfield, and we learned something new. Millennia learns something new every time we do one of these historic renovations, and it's really where our wheelhouse is. We tend to lean towards tax credit and historic tax credits when we do projects. And so, we have learned a little bit in each phase of doing these apartments. And what we've really learned is that, residents want really fantastic spaces that are unique. And so we've created very unique spaces in both. So the Garfield ranges from 1 and 2 bedroom apartments and has very similar amenities to the Statler, except for it doesn't have a rooftop deck. But it has gorgeous, unique spaces, an icon fitness room. It also has a community room with coffee and beer bar, which makes it unique in this downtown area. And really, it is very important to those folks who enjoy beer. My preference may have been wine, but that's okay. We can live with beer for sure. So really unique spaces, again, super fantastic staff. 1 and 2 bedrooms offered here at the Garfield. And we're always looking for good market data and where the pricing is going to come in on all of these. And we want to really provide luxury apartments at both the Statler and the Garfield that really fit into everybody's budget.
Well, I think there are a number of things that each of you talked about that we can circle back to. But you all talked about the amenity packages that your buildings offer, and I know as we talk with both apartment owners and residents, we understand that that's becoming an increasingly important consideration for residents as they decide where they want to live. I'd like to get your perspectives on, how marketing your apartment buildings has changed or evolved over the last few months when, we're in a very different environment than we were at the beginning of the year when a number of your buildings were just beginning to lease. Maybe Amanda, I'll go back to you and ask, what sorts of different approaches are you using, and what are you hearing from prospective residents about what they're looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of our prospects these days are looking for the total package. They're looking for a beautiful apartment on top of spaces within the building where they can work from home, where they can host a private event if they would like to have family over, where they can entertain friends in an outdoor space and also work out. So luckily the Athlon seemed to do it right from the beginning, and we have a beautiful fitness center where you don't have to leave the building if you want to work out with a full gym. Recently, we're working on creating a group X type schedule where we would be having a group fitness organization happen on a weekly basis. So you can take those group X classes, work out on your own, or swim in the historic pool, all within our walls here. Really, I think the rooftop space is a unique feature. Being that area where you can get outside and get some fresh air without having to actually leave your home is one of those main features people are looking for. The business center and our lounge being equipped with Wi-Fi, cable access, an area to host a business meeting if need be, are all things that people are looking for as well, where people are working from home now. So those are the main things people are looking for, is that total package experience.
I guess, Cassie, I'd ask you to comment on the same, but I'd layer in an additional question and additional context. You know, one of the things that we certainly promote at Downtown Cleveland Alliance about downtown living is that walkable access to meet daily needs and just, you know, things to do. And, you know, we've continued to hear loud and clear from downtown residents that, you know, even over the last couple of months, that's really the core, one of the core values that residents find of living downtown. And a piece of that is less of a need oftentimes for a parking space or you know, having access to a lot of mobility options. So I'm curious about, you know, the Beacon is unique in that it's built on top of an parking structure and is able to offer that as an amenity. But, you know, what are you hearing from residents about what they're looking for in particular with regard to their transportation needs? And, you know, has that changed over the last couple of months?
Well, I think similar to what Amanda said, I think every prospect and all of our residents are really looking for the total package. I think all of our lives have changed quite a bit. We work from home more frequently, so the ability to be mobile isn't really that much of a need in this moment as I think we would have thought of it being, or it was last year. So I think for us, the amenity of having our garage be the base and the foundation of our building is it's on site. And that is a huge amenity for our residents because they do still have vehicles, and being able to check on their car when they don't need to use it every day and making sure that it's in a secure area that they can have quick access to it is important to them. Not to mention our central location. It makes us we have a great vantage point. We can walk to pretty much anything within a quick, short couple minutes. And our residents appreciate that for sure. From, you know, the normal, I think, requirements that most prospects have these days for a downtown apartment, you know, parking, security and secured access, what else? Gym, community spaces. We have building-wide Wi-Fi. So I think that it was always an amenity that we highlighted, but especially in these times where we're working from home, it's become one of our biggest features. We have amenity where you can log into your own Wi-Fi and I can be connected to my secured private network from the downstairs lobby or downstairs in the gym all the way to the 29th floor. So I can work from anywhere in the building. If I want to go up and get out of my apartment because I feel cooped up from working from home all day, all week there, our residents can go upstairs, work from the sky deck outside and enjoy fresh air. They can take their dog out on our rooftop dog park. And then even further, I think that for downtown, it's really building that sense of community. So we try our best to make sure all of our residents know each other. And we have what we call the Beacon Black Card. And it's our effort to unite small businesses, the larger businesses in the area, and provide a discount to our residents so they stay centralized by our building. And they're really learning more about their community because it only strengthens us as a core and this whole entire market for all of us. So I think really capitalizing on all of those smaller businesses and helping them right now, especially, we really want to, you know, rebuild that sense of community and unite together through this whole thing.
And Cheryl, similar question for you. I know you're not just marketing downtown living, you're a downtown resident yourself. And as I understand it, living car free in downtown Cleveland, which we love to promote. I'd like to ask you to, you know, share a little bit, you know, both what you're hearing from prospective residents about what they're looking for at the Statler and the Garfield. But if you could share a little bit about your experience as well as a resident living car-free in downtown Cleveland.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with car-free in downtown Cleveland. So I've been doing that for 2 years. I don't have a car payment. I don't have to pay for a parking spot, and everything for me is within a 10-minute walk. And so I have enjoyed it. It's gotten me outdoors much more than I had ever anticipated. It's a great way to start my day in the morning on my way to work and on my way home. And, I'm looking, all of my needs are taken care of downtown in a very close proximity. Having the malls that are over here, the green space is amazing. To see the amount of folks who take their dogs over there, who just go for walks over there, and it's all age groups. And I think, that's, the age groups is what ties back, in my opinion, to the Statler and to the Garfield. And I think that there are so many different age groups living downtown right now, and you have to be able to cater to all those different age groups. And I think our leasing team does a really good job of that, making sure that there are enough amenities folded in for the more mature resident and the younger resident, right? And price points in between those that will take care of everybody's needs in terms of what they can afford and still get that luxury service-oriented feel in the Statler and the Garfield, and making sure that all of our amenities are in place, that everything is spotless, that the community rooms are always clean, that the fitness rooms are always clean. Those things, secure access, all that stuff is really important. But at the end of the day, what we find is that our residents, they want beautiful spaces, they want great service, and they want to feel like they can get to where they need to go quickly in downtown. And I think they all feel that way. I would say Statler and Garfield, less than half of their residents have cars. So, we have parking conveniently located in both locations, which is great, but not all of them take advantage of that, and not all of them have a car.
Well, picking up off of that, and Cheryl, you talked earlier about the retail opportunities at the Statler. As we began 2020 at Downtown Cleveland Alliance, we really looked at historic Euclid Avenue, where all of your properties are, the ones we're talking about today, are located. We really looked at historic Euclid Avenue from Public Square to Playhouse Square as a big opportunity for downtown retail. We knew that, for all intents and purposes, Public Square to Playhouse Square along historic Euclid was going to look and feel very complete by the end of the year. We'd be adding over 1,000 apartments that would take us to 20,000 residents. 20,000 residents, for those of you in the audience, that's a key metric for retailers that are looking at a downtown location. And we were going to have that concentration right along our historic retail corridor on Euclid Avenue. And a number of retail storefronts were being renovated as part of the projects that we're talking about today. And a lot of that is about walkable access, giving residents more options, more amenities that they can walk to in downtown along an historic Main Street.
Right.
I'd like to give each of you an opportunity to talk a little bit about the storefront opportunities that you have, and maybe some of the kinds of things that your buildings are looking for, and that you're hearing from your existing residents and prospective residents, the kinds of things that they're looking for and hoping to see.
Sure. So I'll just go first, ladies, if that's okay with you, and gentlemen. So, if we use Garfield as the example, we have a major food and beverage chain, Shake Shack, at the Garfield, and our philosophy was really waiting for that. We've got Marble Room Steak and Raw Bar, which is a part of that project, which is a gorgeous, amazing restaurant that we can't wait to open back up again. And then right next to it, we have Shake Shack, so you can get your high-end steak and your burger right next door to each other. We have Harness Cycle in the Garfield, and those are the amenities that we have found that our residents are looking for. They want fast casual, they want high-end, they want to go to an alternative gym that's conveniently located. And so that's really what we are looking for. We want those retailers, a great restaurant, you know, an interesting marketing office that might want to have a storefront instead of a traditional office space, because I think we have to be flexible in this time. You know, lucky for us, we're still getting phone calls for our retail space, which is amazing. We have one medical office user who's called us about Statler, which is an interesting concept for that space as well. So, you know, we're open and flexible to utilizing these spaces in creative ways moving forward.
Yeah, Cheryl, I think that the Athlon is pretty much in the same boat. We're open and flexible with who we see and envision in our spaces. So we have, the Athlon has the first floor retail space directly on Euclid Avenue, which is roughly 9,000 square feet. So it is a large space right now, just a wide open white box. And it can be split up into a couple spaces, 3 spaces, or be combined into just one larger retail space. What the Athlon has that is very unique, which a lot of people from the CAC days remember, the grand ballroom, which is on our 7th floor of the building. It's roughly the same size as the first floor. It's about 10,000 square feet in total. That is, and we are hoping for a commercial tenant on the 7th floor. And the unique thing about the ballroom is the ornate ceilings that we have restored. It is still a historical space, so it feels like the Cleveland Athletic Club still at this time. So really, anyone who is looking for a space that tells a story is the space for you here at the Athlon. So still looking for that special tenant as well.
And for us at the Beacon, we have about 10,000 square feet of commercial space in storefront. And then alongside our garage component, that is a commercial component for us, and it is public parking. So we have fast casual. And I think that what Cheryl and Amanda are both saying, I think for our residents, that fast casual component and convenience on a day-to-day is the most important thing. And for all of us, I think that the interesting use of this space is going to be key, because the more dynamic it is, the more people we can accommodate. And again, as a community, I think it just builds a more interesting corridor for us and supports all 4 of our communities. Which again, only strengthens the city itself, and it benefits us all. So I think that's really what we're looking forward to. And we have Potbelly's and Balance there strong, holding those fronts. And I believe we have one space coming available. So we're looking for that tenant too.
Well, one of the things that we we're excited about in downtown right now is the continued development in construction and in progress. And Cheryl, the Millennia team took the step over the summer of initiating another project at 75 Public Square. Wondered if you could tell us a little bit about the decision making and the project and the timing.
Sure, absolutely. So we bought 75 now at this point. So we've had it for quite a while. We actually looked at that building for our corporate headquarters as we were purchasing it. And so it didn't lay out for office space the way Frank envisioned Millennia's growth and our company culture. So he very quickly transitioned that project over to multifamily. And again, tax credits is really the space in which we thrive. And so we did apply for tax credits for 75 Public Square, and we were awarded those tax credits. I believe it was last year. And so construction, we had one tenant left in the building. And so as soon as that tenant packed their last box and vacated their space, we immediately started with construction, and it's so fun to watch. I've been responsible for 75 for the last couple of years, and I can't wait to see this transformation. It'll be, you know, very similar to Garfield and to Statler in terms of the luxury quality finishes. About 114 apartment units there. It's going to have a rooftop patio, so we're very excited about that. And you get two really great views all the way to the lake. And of course, you can look up and see 75 Public Squares, or as we call it now, Public Square North, Big Sister Key Tower.
Train myself on that one, Public Square North.
I do too.
I guess a question for each of you, and maybe Amanda, I'd ask you to kick it off. You know, one of the things that we get asked about a lot at DCA, especially at a time like this where we've got a lot of new apartments coming into the market, is where you see residents coming from. Are you seeing people move from within the region into downtown, from one downtown building to another, coming from outside the region? I think our audience is always interested in hearing a little bit about some of the trends and patterns that you're seeing. So Amanda, what are you seeing at the Athlon?
Yeah, at the Athlon, we see a lot of downtown residents who are, you know, looking to maybe make an upgrade because they got a promotion with work. So they've started shopping around again to see what exciting new apartments that they have to choose from down here in our area. Not specifically just for the Euclid corridor, but maybe making their way over from the warehouse district or Ohio City to this side of downtown, because we are up and coming and revitalizing our area. So it's nice to see people checking out the east side of downtown to see, you know, we are a residential area as well. But what we also see a lot, being in our specific location across from the health line, are a lot of people moving to Cleveland for new positions with the major hospital systems. So it's good to see a lot of people moving from other large cities to Cleveland and being excited about it because they've heard great things with our community and what a tight-knit community Cleveland is. And so it keeps it exciting on a daily basis to be able to work with new people and learn their stories of where they're coming from and get them excited about our community as well.
Cassie, how about you? What are you seeing at the Beacon?
You know, we are seeing similar residents and prospects coming our way, relocating again from other apartment buildings downtown. We see people coming from across the country, mostly for healthcare, but not always only for healthcare. We do see, interestingly enough, a lot of people selling their homes in the suburbs and really wanting to give downtown living a shot. And I think that's a very cool, unexpected thing that most people wouldn't think, but a lot of people are really just wanting to try something new. And it's exciting. I think that says a lot about the work that we've done downtown and making and revitalizing our city. So I would add just that piece. We are seeing some people who are selling their homes and giving it a shot.
We love to hear it. We love to hear it.
We do.
Cheryl, how about the Statler and the Garfield? What sorts of trends are you seeing there?
You know, I think we work closely with a lot of the downtown companies and their relocation specialists within those companies. And so we do see people coming in from out of town that are relocating with the companies that are in downtown Cleveland, which is great. And so we continue to work with those companies. We hear, you know, a lot that folks want 3-bedroom apartments. And so we try to help those companies who are looking for those 3-bedroom apartments as well at the Statler. You know, there is still that trade of one resident going from one apartment building to the next. I think we're in line with DCA in terms of the study that you guys commissioned, that we have to work hard to convince the folks that work downtown to sell their home in the suburbs and head down. You know, I think we have good examples of that at Millennia. You know, I'm one of them. I sold my house, I moved downtown, got rid of the car. And so encouraging that and figuring out how to push that message down and into the companies that are in Cleveland, so that we're not just trading, you know, residents. All these buildings give such amazing guest service and have such wonderful amenities. As these new products come on, let's build them up with the folks who live down here. And so that's really what we try to do and work hard, retain our current residents and add from the folks who are living downtown, or I'm sorry, working downtown.
Well, speaking of working downtown, before we shift to audience questions, Cheryl, I know among in addition to all of the apartment properties that Millennia owns downtown, Millennia also owns Key Tower. And one of the things that we're all focused on is trying to create and attract more jobs in the downtown, which for purposes of our conversation today, we hope translates into more downtown residents. But wonder if you could share just a little bit about Key Tower and you know, what you're seeing right now in terms of office tenant leasing. You know, we hear a lot about remote work and what that means for the future of the office market. Could you tell us a little bit about what you're seeing at Key Tower?
Sure. So it's definitely an interesting time downtown right now at Key Tower. You know, we've been open this whole time through the pandemic, and we're still providing service to our tenants who are coming to the building every single day. We have just amazing tenants in our building who are so committed to downtown and to Key Tower. You know, the office market, sure, it's slowed down a little bit. Folks have taken a pause if they were in the middle of negotiations, just to see how things unfold. However, at the same time, we still get calls all the time for tours of our space. We now offer them virtually, or we can run them through with a video. So we FaceTime, we've done all those things to have folks in our building and looking at our office space. We're actively in the middle of negotiating a medium-sized office tenant right now. We have 2 of our tenants in our building who have actually outgrown their space in the last 6-9 months. And so they're expanding right now and taking more space in the building. So while we do see the same trends as everybody else of working from home, we think that that's going to come back. You know, I think that our core base of tenants, their teams are eventually going to come back. They'll be coming back in waves. Some of our larger office tenants have spaces in which they have to adjust and put in barriers and move people apart. So that takes a little bit of time if you're a large office user. But you know, we're still seeing positive markers out there. And so we would just encourage those folks who are looking for office space to recognize that downtown is a great place to work. And when you're working downtown, it's a great place to live.
Well, I think that's well put, and a good transition point for us as Jonathan is looking at questions from the audience. Let me remind all of our viewers that you can find virtual tours to all of the properties that we're talking about today, the Athlon, the Beacon, the Statler, and the Garfield by visiting us at downtowncleveland.com. We have links to the virtual tours in the websites for all the buildings that we're talking about today, so you can explore things a little bit further. Jonathan, do we have some questions from the audience for our panel?
Yeah, we have a few trickling in. Our first question is, what is some of the feedback you're receiving from renters, particularly those moving in at this time, about the process of moving in, maybe why they've chosen to move, you know, at this time?
Excuse me. I don't think that there's really been a difference for us in the people who have chosen to move during this time. Typically, the people who have chosen to move needed to move. Their lease was ending, or they sold their home. Their job was still starting. So they haven't had much difficulties, and we haven't had to really change much, aside from just maybe a little bit of operating procedures. We do our turnovers a little bit more extensively. We sanitize a little bit more and spend a little bit more time doing the move-ins, but we haven't seen much of a change. It's pretty much been standard protocol there for us.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cassie. The Athlon, we have changed a little bit in ways where we've wanted to make people feel more comfortable in our current environment. So when that means more sanitizing, maybe we have our sanitizing pumps throughout the common areas, and you didn't see that before. But as far as people still moving, the demand is still there. I think leasing is still in our favor, and we are still busy. So we do still see the demand, which I think is what scared us all a little bit at the beginning, but it is still there. So good news for us.
Jonathan, do we have additional questions from the audience?
So our next question is, what are some of the benefits to living downtown? And specifically, what are some of the benefits of living downtown during a pandemic?
Well, I think that living downtown, you can work, even if your offices are down here and you're still working from home, it makes it easy if you have to run something over there, or you have to pick something up, for sure. Convenience of all of your amenities right at your fingertips. You don't necessarily have to leave any of these buildings, any of these apartment communities to do any of your necessities. All of them have great delivery services, I'm certain, with Amazon and all of those items. So what's also great, and was great during that quarantine period, was having that green space and still being allowed to get out there on those malls and at public square and enjoy the outdoors. And I think people really took advantage of that and enjoyed that during that time.
If I could piggyback on that and ask Amanda and Cassie to weigh in as well. One of the things that we heard a lot about from downtown residents over the last few months is kind of what Cheryl just alluded to, the value of being able to access outdoor amenities, and in particular the waterfronts. We've heard a lot about from residents about being able to spend time by walking down to Boynovich Park on the lakefront, or walking down to the river, or bicycling on the towpath trail. Are you hearing that sort of feedback from your residents as well?
Yeah, we are. I mean, although we have that quick access dog park on our rooftop, and we have the Sky Lounge upstairs, and you really don't have to leave to experience the outdoors, but to truly get that feel for the city and walking around, they're utilizing, the bike paths and all of the access to the lake, going through those malls, and with it everything being so close and convenient to our building, and we're not all that far apart. So really all of us, I think that all of our residents are really getting out and just experiencing downtown more. And I think that it's fun. It's exciting to see the residents come out, and in that time where all the offices, we weren't going downtown. And I don't live downtown, but I definitely stayed very well in tune with my property managers, specifically the one at the Beacon, Kate Wilson. She would share with me that everyone is in good spirits. They get out, they take walks, they take their dogs on walks, and they're just doing things a little differently, but definitely utilizing all of the resources they have in the city and experiencing the city in a different way that I don't know we would have ever taken the time to do, and they would have ever taken the time to do, but it was kind of one of those silver linings of the situation we all found ourselves in. So definitely our residents are utilizing those outlets.
Yeah, I think that a lot of our residents here at the Athlon have purchased bikes since everything, and they're exploring a lot more. And Cleveland and Northeast Ohio is unique due to our metro parks that we have, which are absolutely gorgeous. So I think just venturing out is a lot of what our residents are filling their time with and exploring everything that Cleveland has to offer. Um, Edgewater Park being one of the nearest beachfronts for the downtown Cleveland area is, I think, one of our gems that we have to offer. And people moving to Cleveland, experiencing Edgewater for the first time, you know, they're like, wow, I didn't realize Lake Erie was this beautiful. And I'm personally a huge fan of Cleveland, so having the lake and being able to see the waterfront from our rooftops, from our parks and our downtown is one of our special features of Cleveland for sure.
Okay, so our next question is for Cheryl. Do you see Key Tower utilizing unused office space for those who want to work away from home, but still want some sort of office setup?
Sure. So that shared office space is definitely something that we've looked at. And we actually started looking at that well before March. And so shared office space was all the rage. Now I think we have to really look at it at this period of time and how that would work, because density was a large part of that component to make those spaces work and work well. So it would have to be different now. And I think that we're willing to look at that. You know, I think one of the unique things about us is that the Marriott at Key Tower is attached to Key Tower, and the Marriott at Key Tower is actually offering their spaces to use for folks who want to get out of their home for a little bit and have some off-site work available to them with some great amenities in the hotel. So we are offering that, and shared workspace is something that we're considering here at Key Tower as well.
That reminds me of something that we've heard a little bit about at DCA, but none of you have mentioned it, which leads me to think it is not that big of an issue. But you know, do you hear feedback from residents, or I guess more prospective residents, asking about you know, the safety and cleanliness of living in such close quarters in the environment that we're in, where you know, physical distancing is something we're all very conscious of. Do you hear those concerns, and you know, what sorts of things are your buildings doing to ensure sort of safety and cleanliness, and making sure that everybody's safe and comfortable?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I think that that's something that has been on the forefront of people's minds. Not as much as you would think, but definitely there are you know, a handful of prospects who ask those questions and detailed about air circulation and how we clean, how often we clean. So we have changed our operating procedures. We have upped our cleaning schedules and sanitizing schedules. We have purchased a backpack sprayer to have an ease of sanitizing through all of our amenities. We've followed guidelines from the CDC and local health departments to post all the necessary signs and requirements. There was a point where we stopped our social community programming. And since that, we have resumed masks required, social distancing. We've done virtual events, resident events. So we've just adapted to what our residents feel comfortable with, and prospects too. So as we navigated this uncertain and uncharted waters, we kind of pulled, not so directly, but we pulled everybody. We asked what they felt comfortable with. If we felt the need or felt the demand for FaceTime tours, we were right on it. We created a YouTube channel for our prospects to be able to share those links. Even for our maintenance, we had move-ins scheduled and they continued to move in, but some may not have felt comfortable with us coming in to do our normal orientation with them. So we created a YouTube video of frequently asked questions and a move-in orientation. And we just kind of adapted to what we felt the need was in those moments. And so again, it was kind of like a poll. We polled everybody without directly asking them, what do you prefer? We just kind of followed their lead and followed the lead of the world and where we were going. And I think we're all better for it. I think we've adapted in a way that we can now offer things remotely to people who, again, the people who are coming from out of state. We can offer them a more intimate experience to really get to know our building on a different level than they, didn't have the opportunity to unless they came through our doors. So we've adapted pretty well.
Well, I know we're sort of coming up on the hour, so I'd like to throw one final question to each of you, if I could. I think in the environment that we're in right now, we all feel a little bit constrained by the pressures that we're all experiencing with COVID-19 and all the uncertainties that we're all living with. And so I'd like to close by asking you to forward think a little bit about each of your properties, the buildings that you're leasing, and where you think and hope to be a year from now, if we bring this group back together in August of 2021, and we're having this conversation. Tell me about how the Athlon, the Beacon, the Statler, the Garfield, and Public Square North are doing.
Yeah, I think that the Athlon obviously would hope to be 100% occupied a year from now. And we, hope to see a community that is hopeful for a better downtown future with a lot of new opportunities at their fingertips. They absolutely hope to see some new retail tenants on our street. So just the hope and the opportunities that we have available to us is something that everyone is hopeful for. We see a lot of eager people that walk through our doors every day. So that eagerness, combined with just everything that we have going on in our community, I think is what really is still bringing people to our area.
And I'll add on that. I think that in a year from now, I have no doubt that we'll be fully occupied with happy residents, and we will see that trend across all of our communities. I think working towards that is that unity. We're doing our best to feature our small businesses and help get our residents through their doors. And I think one by one, if we help our community and really capitalize on the activity, because we're all downtown and we do see there are people out, and it isn't dead by any sense. It definitely feels a sense of normalcy every day downtown. So really capitalize and getting that message out to everybody that it hasn't changed too much. And I think one by one, and getting these small businesses some more support, we'll see more trickle in and fill in. And a year from now, I think that we'll just have a stronger Cleveland to talk about, and hopefully we do.
Yeah, I would agree with both the ladies. Having full buildings, right, and everybody sharing in their share of the business, and having the office buildings full downtown so that we have even more amazing residents that want to live downtown. I'm looking forward to having everybody back into Key Tower. I'm looking forward to walking through Public Square North when it's done. I can't wait to see that finished product. It's going to be so amazing, right next to Old Stone Church and across from Public Square. Creating this just amazing community of apartment users and office users, and getting that, that real Cleveland energy back downtown with all the office workers down here. And I just want to say this, Michael, and then I'll be quiet for a moment. It's been amazing to see what the downtown Cleveland residents have done in terms of supporting their local businesses and making sure that they're going to the small restaurants and taking their food home with them when we couldn't eat in the restaurants, and getting pizza delivered and using Grubhub and doing all those things to support each other downtown has been truly a blessing for me to see throughout all of this.
No, thank you for pointing that out. Couldn't agree more. And yeah, I want to thank all of you for your time today and all of your insights. I want to remind our audience that, again, you can find virtual tours of all the properties that we've talked about today and contact information for how to learn more about living opportunities at each of the apartment buildings that we've talked about by visiting our website at downtowncleveland.com. You can learn, again, not just about the buildings that we've talked about today and take virtual tours, but read and view testimonials and learn about the lifestyle of living in downtown Cleveland. So we encourage you to do that. And again, Amanda, Cassie, Cheryl, thank you so much for your time today. We look forward to working with all of you to make sure that all of your buildings are successful and that we build the future that you envisioned just a few moments ago, and we can get back together and celebrate a really good year in downtown Cleveland 12 months from now. I'd like to thank Jonathan and the staff at Downtown Cleveland Alliance for making today's webinar possible. And again, thank our media partner, Cleveland Magazine and Community Leader for making the Downtown Now webinar series a reality. I look forward to joining our audience next week, 3 o'clock on Thursday for the next episode of Downtown Now. Until then, thank you very much, and please support your businesses in downtown Cleveland. Thank you.